Dr. Todd's cruel campaign against Jacob Sugden is spiraling out of control in Emmerdale, and now Charity Dingle has become her latest victim. Viewers are convinced they have finally figured out the key piece of evidence that could expose the manipulative doctor once and for all. For months, Dr. Caitlin Todd has tormented Jacob behind closed doors, making his life miserable while pretending everything was normal. The situation exploded when Jacob finally reported her behaviour to HR, hoping it would put an end to the bullying. But his plans quickly fell apart after Todd threatened to reveal a devastating family secret involving baby Leyla. Jacob was left trapped after Charity persuaded him to withdraw the complaint in order to protect the truth that Leyla is actually Charity and Ross Barton's biological daughter. Recently, Todd admitted she had enjoyed making Jacob suffer before shifting her attention toward Charity herself. She demanded £10,000 to keep quiet, and although Charity handed over £5,000, it was clear the nightmare was far from over. In Friday's episode, Todd appeared ready to leave the village after inheriting her late father's house in Matlock. However, everything changed when she discovered Charity owns half of the Woolpack. While speaking with Vanessa, Todd hinted she was no longer planning to leave and suggested she intended to stay in the village much longer than expected. Moments later, she confronted Charity in the pub and mocked her for hiding the fact she owned part of the business. As Charity tried to shut the conversation down, Todd cruelly brought baby Leyla into the discussion again, forcing Charity into panic. Charity insisted she had no more money to give, but Todd refused to back down. The ruthless doctor then increased her demand to a staggering £100,000 and suggested Charity should sell her share of the Woolpack in order to pay her off permanently. Now fans believe Todd may have made a major mistake. Many viewers think CCTV footage from the shop or pub could contain proof of her threatening behaviour toward both Jacob and Charity. One fan pointed out that cameras in the shop could have recorded Todd intimidating Jacob, while others suggested pub footage may have captured the blackmail conversation with Charity. Some viewers even predicted Ryan could accidentally uncover the recordings while investigating Charity's missing money. The drama intensifies next week as Charity faces more pressure after being denied extra financial support. Desperate and running out of options, she turns to Ruby Milligan with an offer to sell her share of the Woolpack. The question now is whether Ruby will agree, and whether Todd's dark secrets are finally about to be exposed. A shocking new fire mystery is set to explode in Emmerdale as Robert and Aaron suddenly find themselves at the centre of danger. Emmerdale delivered a dramatic new mystery tonight after an unknown person deliberately set a deadly fire. The huge cliffhanger came after a tense showdown involving Kane and Robert, leaving viewers questioning who was truly to blame. The episode began with Robert carrying out work at the farm before Sam suddenly attacked him and knocked him unconscious. After regaining consciousness, Robert discovered he had been tied to a chair inside the barn, while Kane stood nearby holding a hammer. In the previous episode, Kane learned that Robert had secretly planted fake identity papers at Butler's, which resulted in Moira being wrongly arrested. Furious over the betrayal, Kane wanted revenge and decided to confront him directly. Sam eventually ran out of the barn after becoming worried that Kane was going too far, but Kane continued intimidating Robert. During the heated confrontation, Robert explained that his actions were motivated by a desire to protect Victoria after John's death. Meanwhile, Moira and Aaron became increasingly concerned as they searched for the missing men. Back at the barn, Kane attempted to attack Robert again, but suddenly collapsed in agony. Robert hesitated, unsure whether to flee or help him, before eventually deciding to take Kane to hospital. Even while receiving treatment, Kane warned Robert not to believe the conflict was finished. Moira and Aaron later arrived at the hospital and were shocked to learn the truth about what had happened. After Aaron defended Robert during a conversation with Kane, Robert apologized once more for everything he had done. Kane eventually agreed to put the feud behind them and make peace. Relieved that the bitter conflict finally seemed over, Robert and Aaron left the hospital together believing the worst was behind them. However, the episode ended with another major twist, as a mysterious individual was seen setting Emmerdale Farm on fire. The identity of the culprit remains unknown. Elsewhere, it was officially announced that Patsy Kensit will return to the soap as Sadie King for the first time in 2 decades. During her original time in the village, Sadie famously had romances with both Robert and Kane. Speaking about her comeback, Kensit shared her excitement about returning to Emmerdale and said she had fond memories of her previous years on the programme. She added that Sadie was a character she truly enjoyed portraying and praised the cast and crew while expressing gratitude for the opportunity to return. Dr. Todd uncovers a shocking truth about Charity in Emmerdale that could leave her with nothing. Charity Dingle has made a huge error by deceiving Dr. Caitlin Todd, and the consequences may end up destroying her entire life. After inheriting her father's old home, Caitlin realized she would need a large amount of money to renovate the property. Because she took early retirement and had very little pension savings available, she decided to return to her old habit of blackmail in order to get the cash she needed. Caitlin approached Charity and demanded £10,000, threatening to expose the truth to Jacob Gallagher and Sarah Sugden about baby Leyla not really being their biological child if the money was not handed over. Unable to gather the full amount, Charity managed to give Caitlin only £5,000. She also attempted to frighten her into leaving the village by issuing threats of her own. At first, the plan appeared successful, as Caitlin later informed Vanessa Woodfield that she intended to move away. During tonight's episode, Caitlin met up with Manpreet Sharma for lunch before preparing for her departure. While they discussed the possibility of Caitlin and Vanessa becoming romantically involved, Ryan Stocks happened to be nearby working on paperwork for the pub. As Ryan chatted with Manpreet about Charity, he accidentally revealed information that immediately caught Caitlin's attention. Until that moment, Caitlin believed Charity was simply employed behind the bar at the Woolpack. However, she soon discovered that Charity actually owns half of the pub. Later, Caitlin arrived at the Woolpack and smugly informed Charity that the price of her silence had now increased dramatically. Instead of £10,000, she demanded a 6-figure payment to keep the secret about baby Leyla hidden. Charity was left completely stunned, especially after realizing Caitlin was entirely serious about the threat. In upcoming scenes, Charity becomes convinced that the only possible solution is to sell her share of the pub. She turns to Kim Tate, believing Kim would be able to hand over the money quickly enough to meet Caitlin's deadline. Emmerdale continues airing on ITV1 on weekday evenings and is also available to stream on ITVX.